The European Commission threatens to invoke Article 7 of the Lisbon Treaty in a row over Poland's judicial reforms. The Commission says the Polish government has put fundamental democratic values at risk.
The Commission decided to invoke Article 7(1) procedure and submit a reasoned proposal for a decision of the Council on the determination of a clear risk of a serious breach of the rule of law by Poland.
The Polish President Andrzej Duda has rejected the EU's rhetoric as lies and politically motivated. Very many representatives of European institutions tell lies about Poland. They're lying. They lie when they say that there are changes in Poland that lead to violations of the rule of law because we are improving democratic standards. The Polish government insists the judicial system needs sweeping changes, accusing judges of being a self-serving circle out of touch with the problems of ordinary citizens.
Brussels says that this is undermining democracy because it's giving the executive branch too much power. The Poles reply, or rather the government of Poland, that this is necessary in order to reform a judicial system which has been largely unchanged, they say, since the old communist times, and that would correspond more closely to the needs of the Polish society in the 21st century.
The never-before-invoked clause, Article 7, permits the EU to punish member states who fail to uphold the bloc's basic ideals. While only a warning, Article 7 could lead to sanctions and a suspension of EU voting rights. Sanctions could include Poland losing billions of euros of EU aid. The recent move, however, does not mean that sanctions will be imposed on Poland. Penalties on Warsaw would have to be backed unanimously by EU member states, while Hungary has said it would not support sanctions.
If the Commission gets 4/5 of the votes it needs for this to be activated, then the Polish government would have 3 months to effect changes which have been recommended from Brussels, which would then make it unnecessary to activate the final nuclear option, which would mean suspension of Poland's voting rights and privileges within the EU.
The development will prove highly awkward for British Prime Minister Theresa May. The Daily Telegraph says the threat to make Poland a pariah in the EU family comes at a highly embarrassing moment for Mrs May, who is due to visit Warsaw on Thursday as part of a massive diplomatic charm offensive that has been launched by Britain towards Poland since Brexit. In fact, what's happening in Poland is parallel to what is happening in Britain with Brexit. According to the US think tank Council on Foreign Relations, at the core of it, the Polish ruling party is alleging that it is exercising sovereignty and taking back control. There is talk of a Polexit. It is clear that national sovereignty is vital to Poland, and it is often referred to by Polish authorities in response to the EU Commission's criticisms of its reforms of the judiciary.
We have to be clear on one issue, that there is no EU as a fixed entity. It's a project which many Euro-federalists would like to take us in the direction of an ever tighter union. On the other hand, as I mentioned earlier, we have some countries such as the Czech Republic, Hungary, Slovakia, and Poland itself, which resist this trend. And at the moment, the key countries within the European Union, France and Germany, both advocate tighter union. And in fact, the new French president, Emmanuel Macron, is a well-known proponent of an increased role for the European Union and for reduced prerogatives of national governments.
With Brussels putting pressure on sovereign member states and arbitrarily punishing democratically elected governments, the future of the EU as a unified bloc is not secure. Will Poland write the second chapter of the exit story of the EU members after Britain?